Carl Jung's concept of the shadow represents one of psychology's most profound insights into human nature. The shadow encompasses those parts of ourselves we've learned to hide, deny, or suppress. The traits, emotions, and impulses that we or society have deemed unacceptable. This unconscious repository of our darker aspects plays a crucial role in shaping our behavior, relationships, and overall psychological well-being. Understanding the shadow. The shadow forms early in life as we learn which aspects of ourselves gain approval and which invite rejection. We naturally begin to suppress traits that bring criticism or punishment, creating what Jung called our persona, the acceptable face we present to the world. However, these rejected aspects don't disappear. They retreat into the unconscious, forming the shadow. This process often begins with good intentions. A child learning to control aggressive impulses, or an adult masking their vulnerability in professional settings, are both engaging in necessary adaptation. The problem arises when this suppression becomes habitual and unconscious, leading to a disconnection from vital parts of ourselves. The shadow's influence. Though hidden, the shadow exerts powerful influence over our lives. It often manifests in projection, seeing in others what we deny in ourselves. Triggers, intense emotional reactions that seem disproportionate. Self-sabotage, unconscious behaviors that undermine our goals. Relationship patterns, recurring difficulties in personal connections. Creative blocks, resistance to self-expression and authenticity. Understanding these manifestations helps us recognize when we're encountering shadow material, making conscious work with these aspects possible. The importance of shadow work. Engaging with the shadow isn't about indulging every impulse or wallowing in negativity. Instead, it's about integration, acknowledging these aspects of ourselves while choosing conscious responses rather than unconscious reactions. This integration brings several benefits: increased self-awareness and authenticity, better relationships through reduced projection, greater access to creativity and personal power, enhanced emotional regulation, reduced internal conflict and anxiety, more energy as we release the effort of suppression, the process of integration. Shadow work involves several key practices. Self-observation. Begin by noticing strong emotional reactions, particularly when they seem excessive or inappropriate to the situation. These reactions often signal shadow material. Acceptance without judgment. Rather than immediately trying to change or fix what you discover, practice accepting these aspects with curiosity and compassion. Remember that having negative thoughts or feelings doesn't make you a bad person. Dialogue with the shadow. Through journaling, art, or imagination, engage with these hidden aspects of yourself. Ask what they want, what they fear, and what they might have to teach you. Integration through action. Find appropriate ways to acknowledge and express shadow aspects, rather than acting them out unconsciously. This might mean channeling anger into assertiveness, or transforming neediness into healthy requests for connection. Challenges and resistance. Shadow work isn't easy. Common challenges include fear of what we might discover, shame about certain thoughts or feelings, resistance to changing familiar patterns, difficulty maintaining awareness, social pressure to remain positive. These challenges are normal and even necessary parts of the process. They often indicate we're approaching important material. The role of relationships. Relationships provide crucial mirrors for shadow work. Our strongest reactions to others often reflect disowned aspects of ourselves. Additionally, safe relationships offer spaces to explore and integrate shadow material through honest dialogue, feedback about blind spots, support during difficult discoveries, opportunities to practice new behaviors, the collective shadow. Beyond individual psychology, Jung identified the collective shadow, those aspects of human nature that entire societies deny or reject. This collective shadow often manifests in prejudice and discrimination, scapegoating of minority groups, environmental destruction, cultural polarization. Understanding the collective shadow helps us recognize how personal and societal transformation interlink. Practical steps for shadow work. Start a shadow journal. Record dreams, strong emotional reactions, and recurring patterns. Look for themes and triggers. Practice trigger tracking. When strongly triggered, ask, what about this situation touches something in me? What might I be projecting? Explore through creativity. Use art, writing, or movement to express and explore shadow aspects without judgment. Seek professional support. A skilled therapist can provide crucial guidance and support for deeper shadow work. The goal of integration. The ultimate aim of shadow work isn't to eliminate our shadow, that's neither possible nor desirable. Instead, we seek to acknowledge our full humanity. Choose conscious responses over unconscious reactions. Access the gifts hidden within our shadow. Live more authentically and compassionately. Through this process, we discover that our shadow often contains not just what we fear about ourselves, but also our unlived potential. As Jung noted, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. By engaging with our shadow thoughtfully and courageously, we move toward greater wholeness, authenticity, and psychological freedom. This journey, while challenging, offers one of the most profound paths to personal growth and self-actualization available to us. The process of visualizing and resolving the shadow represents one of the most powerful paths to psychological transformation. This journey involves specific stages that, when approached with intention and awareness, can lead to profound personal growth and emotional healing. Creative visualization and inner alchemy. The foundation of shadow work begins with creative visualization, a technique that bridges the conscious and unconscious minds. Through this practice, we create vivid mental images of our shadow aspects, making the invisible visible. This process serves as a safe container for exploring parts of ourselves we've long avoided or denied. Inner alchemy, a concept borrowed from ancient traditions, describes the transformative process of turning psychological lead into gold. This metaphor represents the journey of converting our unresolved issues, fears, and suppressed emotions into sources of wisdom and strength. The process requires acknowledgement of our hidden aspects, willingness to explore uncomfortable emotions, patience with the transformation process, trust in our inner wisdom, commitment to personal truth, stages of shadow resolution, recognition. The first stage involves becoming aware of our shadow aspects. This often happens through noticing emotional triggers, recognizing recurring patterns, identifying projections onto others, acknowledging repeated life challenges, exploration. Once recognized, we must explore our shadows with curiosity and compassion. This involves understanding their origins, examining their impact on our lives, investigating their protective functions, discovering their hidden wisdom. Integration. The final stage involves incorporating shadow aspects into our conscious personality. This doesn't mean acting out shadow impulses, but rather acknowledging their existence, finding healthy expressions, extracting their gifts and lessons, creating a more complete self-image. Creative expression as a tool. Artistic expression provides a powerful medium for shadow work. Through creativity, we can express emotions that lack words, explore complex psychological material, create safe distance from overwhelming feelings, discover new insights and perspectives, transform raw emotion into meaningful form. This might involve journal writing, drawing or painting, movement or dance, music or sound, sculpting or crafting. The role of surrender. Crucial to this process is the practice of surrender, letting go of control and allowing our shadow aspects to emerge naturally. This involves releasing judgment, suspending criticism, allowing spontaneous expression, trusting the process, accepting what emerges, emotional engagement. Deep shadow work requires full emotional engagement. Rather than intellectual understanding alone, we must feel our emotions fully, allow suppressed feelings to surface, process stored trauma, experience blocked grief or anger, connect with joy and passion. The silent witness. Developing an inner observer or silent witness helps maintain perspective during this intense work. This aspect observes without judgment, provides emotional distance when needed, offers compassionate perspective, maintains awareness during triggered states, guides integration process. Practical applications to begin working with shadow material. Create a shadow journal. Record dreams to note emotional triggers, track recurring patterns, document insights and revelations. Establish safe space. Set aside regular time. Create physical space for exploration. Gather supportive resources. Build a network of understanding people. Develop regular practice. Daily reflection. Time. Creative expression sessions. Meditation or mindfulness. Body awareness exercises. Signs of progress. As shadow integration proceeds, you may notice decreased emotional reactivity, greater self-acceptance, improved relationships, enhanced creativity, increased energy and vitality, more authentic self-expression. Challenges and obstacles. Common challenges include resistance to facing difficult emotions, fear of what might emerge, shame or guilt about shadow aspects, difficulty maintaining regular practice, social pressure to remain positive, supporting the process. To sustain shadow work, practice self-compassion. Seek professional support when needed. Connect with others doing similar work. Balance exploration with grounding. Maintain healthy boundaries. The ultimate goal. The aim of shadow visualization and resolution isn't to eliminate our shadow aspects, but to create greater wholeness, access blocked potential, live more authentically, enhance emotional intelligence, deepen relationships, foster genuine self-acceptance. Through this process, we discover that our shadows often contain not just our fears and wounds, but also our greatest gifts and untapped potential. By approaching this work with courage, compassion, and commitment, we can transform our psychological landscape and create lives of greater authenticity and fulfillment. Remember, this journey is ongoing. Each layer revealed leads to deeper understanding and integration, continuing the spiral of growth and transformation throughout our lives.